Taurus. Oh, it has just been earthy. It's been abundant. It's been chaos, but a little more controlled. How are we
Yeah,
feeling, folks? How the hell are we feeling?
I definitely feel like May is already a lot better than April. As I say
That
that, feeling under the weather right now, but
it's just that
still.
new moon energy, Heather. It's just
Yeah.
clearing you out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's just, it's clearing you out
Or
and
it's
getting you
saying,
ready.
rest, Heather, rest. And I'm like, I still have to go to work, but
Rest
that's
and you
very
shall
Taurus.
receive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This Taurus season, y'all. Welcome back. We've got Heather Cunningham on the sticks, the one and only, the queen, the astrological angel of our lives, and me, Miranda Linsky. I'm here for the silly, goofy, fun times and to ask Heather the hard hitting questions. Now we are recording this on the new moon. Are we not, Heather?
Yeah. So I guess May 8th is what they say, but I always consider that the day before because, like, it's usually. I should look up exactly what time, but that usually means it's like 2 a.m. on May 7th. I usually feel it like the day before.
My little astrological planner says like 8:25
Oh.
Eastern,
Oh, wait, no, you're so right. I'm wrong. Tuesday,
right?
May 7th, 8:21
Oh, 8:21. Okay.
for Pacific, 11:21 p.m. Eastern, I
Oh,
think.
first.
But
Oh, okay. First. Okay. Yes.
so
But it's,
it's
but a lot of people like when we, as I've been on the astrological wormhole, on the internet, listening to all the witches online, people have said that depending on where you live, it's May 7th or May 8th. And as we've discussed too, that energy is still like pretty prevalent the day leading up and the day after anyways, right? That new
yeah,
moon
yeah,
ness. But yes, as I understand it, for us it's like tonight, but obviously if you're across the world it's gonna probably be the next day for you. But
yeah,
everything that I looked up was like, set your your manifestations tonight, get really clear on those. We'll go more into detail on that in a moment. But then like waking up on the 8th with intentions forward,
yeah,
like with the actual physical of like, okay, we got clear on what it is that we want, what we desire, what we want to manifest. This is just such a big fucking new moon. Like I woke up today excited. Like I was just like, ooh, big day for manifesting. Um,
yeah.
because correct me if I'm wrong, Heather. They're calling this, the astrologers, you, all of them, they're calling this like the luckiest or like one of the most powerful new moons, which is crazy considering we just came off the total solar eclipse and that's when I got really sick.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
I'm hearing in terms of like manifestations, this is the biggest moon to do it for in 2024.
Yeah, and the month of May in general is like the luckiest, most abundant, prosperous month of the year. Um, like the new moon is big, but like, honey, you haven't even seen mid-May. Like, there's
Right.
like when the sun hits Uranus and Jupiter and Venus, and it's all more compact, and it's just like, but yeah, no, it's an exciting time. I mean, it's the Uranus Jupiter conjunction only happens every 14 years. I think it's been a long ass time since that's happened in Taurus, which is a sign of um earthy prosperity. And like Taurus already is Venus ruled, and it's very like just a positive sign, I think, in many
Mm-hmm.
respects.
Yeah.
So for it to happen in a sign that's like about the earth, about the tangible, to have these two like abundant breakthrough planets plus Venus now, which is also about attracting and beauty and things that make you feel good. Yeah. And so now we have the new moon, and then the sun is gonna hit it all in the middle of May. And
My cat.
a ghost. Oh, it's the new moon
uh
ghost.
Sorry folks for those listening and not watching. That was so scary. She really
Yeah.
snuck around me. My cat just opened my door, which showed up in the Zoom that me and Heather are on. And it just creepily opened up. Winona, the cat, is not in the shots. It really, that was so scary. But
Oh my God.
and even I was like, oh, here's that luck now.
Yeah.
Coming on in, greeting me.
Here's a check.
Yeah, it's just like money's coming through the doors. Sorry, go on, Heather.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's it. So like especially if you know, if you are able to read your chart and see if you know your time of birth and you know what house Taurus falls into, there's a whole other layer of context that you can add, which is really cool. So yeah, I do advise that. Feel free to message me and ask me if you need help with that because it's like, I
yes.
mean, it's rare, this astrology, all of this stuff happening in Taurus right now. So like it's worthwhile looking into what house it falls in.
It's crazy being, because obviously, again, we know where the stars were thousands of years ago. We know where they're going to be thousands of years from now. Well, you get it. But like the way we've been talking all last year about this, like all these big transitional movements that feel like they were loading up for like, and now we're in it. Like now we're just in it. We're in the energy. It's not coming anymore. It's like it really, like we're on top of it. We're in the middle of it. It's here.
Yeah.
And what a just, maybe it's because Mercury is no longer in retrograde, but what a just time to be the fuck alive, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
all this loaded energy and sort of in this big movement of, again, we're going into the age of Aquarius. Like it's a brand new age. So all this energy is extra loaded. Um, but I just am like feeling it in my bones. I think there's something really interesting about this, taking place in Taurus as opposed to, with all due respect, to Virgo and all due respect to Capricorn. Taurus to me is already such a sign, right? It's coming off of that Aries energy. And it feels like such a sign that's not here to dampen the Aries energy or tell it like reel your shit in. It's literally here to be like, okay, yes. Now, how can we make this actually grounded and happen and go forward? Again,
Yes.
Taurus
Yes.
is that bull energy, right? It's
Yes.
it's earth, but it's still so Aries charged. What a beautiful sign for this to be happening in.
Yeah, going off of that, I felt so seen and so inspired when I was listening to one of my favorite astrologers, Christopher Renstrom. I was watching some video of him talking about the current astrological climate, and he was talking about Taurus and saying that Taurus is very different from Virgo and Capricorn, but especially Capricorn in that it's a sign of the spring, and that signs that are in the spring and also coming off of Aries and being such a raw like early sign in the zodiac has this optimism, and that Capricorn tends to lead with a scarcity mindset because it's the autumn and things are dying and it's Saturn ruled and it's
Mm.
about restriction, but Taurus is Venus ruled and it's yeah, because it takes place in the spring, Taurans have more so the mind, like they're still earthy and want security and value that a lot, and build slowly and want to have a good life and enjoy nice things, but it's more like the idea is more like, oh well, I can splurge on this and I know that the money is going to come back later. Like there's more of an abundant mindset with Taurus.
Mm.
Yeah, also just being Venus ruled.
Yeah.
I really loved that. I was like, wow, I vibe with that so much. And I do. I feel that as a Taurus moon, and like the Taurans in my life, I see that more so than with like say a Capricorn or a Virgo. That tends to be a little
Right.
bit more like still very good
Rigid.
at navigating the earthy world, but yeah, rigid maybe, or like
There's like more of
less.
like, I think maybe not, rigid's not maybe the right
Taurus
word,
just
but like
values pleasure so much. It's just so Venusian. It's just so like, and it's just confident, I think, that it's gonna attract. I don't know. There's like a
well, and it's also
lightness.
wedged in between Aries, the
And
explosive
Gemini,
start,
which is so
and then
light.
Gemini, which is also a light, like, okay, now I'm
mischievous.
here.
Yeah, like
Yes, a little playful. Like I
yeah,
do think Taurus's neighbors are both very
yeah.
playful,
That's a good point.
lighter signs, whereas like not to obviously Virgo's wedged between Libra and Sag, right? Have that right?
No,
Oh, sorry. It's
what? No, Libra and Leo.
Libra and Leo. Thank you, thank you. Libra
It
comes after.
corrects the party hard Leo
It
errors.
gets back into like, okay, it's the fall. We got to focus. We're going
Come
back to
on, Leo.
school. Right, right. Leo, get
Rein it in.
Leo. The cars are leaving. The sun is setting. Get out of the water, Leo.
Stop
Yeah.
drinking.
Virgo's the one who's like been sober all day, like
Yeah.
waiting for you fucking drunk idiots to get into the car so we can
Yeah.
go home. Like, just kidding. All due respect. But again, I think this is the rep that the earth signs have. And again, the more we talk about and have the understanding of where these earth signs, though, again, you can't help but sort of, we understand that a lot of these energies blend a little more. It's not as
Yeah.
concise. It's not so like,
Yeah.
okay, now we're in Taurus and it's a whole new
There's
thing.
a
It's
greater
we're coming off
context.
of Aries into Taurus. There's a flow there, not like a fresh, not like a clean slate. It's you bring in the sign you were just in into the next. You navigate through that one, and then you have your, and again, so I just yeah, a new moon, this fresh spring start, a new moon also when we talk about all of the moon phases have significance. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but I just want to reiterate too that like this, like when you manifest in the new moon or not even maybe just manifesting, when you're connecting to the new moon energy even, or and yes, if your goals are manifesting or just if your goals are to feel
Setting an
cleansed.
intention. Yeah.
Setting intentions, right? Like this is just, we're in the spring. It's the brand new astrological new year. We just came off of a fiery ass April into this a little more calm down of May, but that's still like there's a twinkle. It's like we're calming down, but May's kind of looking at you like, I can't wait to show you what's up my sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we're about to sort of hit the drop again in a way of like, here we go. And this is, I think, that build up right before the here we go. And then also, I know a lot of people online, and we talked about this a little bit too, Heather, like 6 months from now, we're going to have the full moon in Taurus. And a lot of what I'm seeing like online or in my little newsletter and the things I follow, it's like really get clear on intentions and manifestations that you want to see in reality for the next 6 months, like getting really specific on this next 6 months. I think sometimes it can be really overwhelming to like, okay, well, let me try to sit here and manifest every single little thing I want when I really locked into like what do you want to see in 6 months from now when the Taurus full moon hits and we reflect back on the Taurus new moon of what you wanted. That was really powerful to me too. And very Taurus or like that someone was very specifically, so many people talked about this new moon is in such huge connection with the full moon in Taurus later.
Yeah.
I found that really helpful.
Yeah, this other big astrologer, Chani Nicholas, said, I think it like makes more sense to set goals 3 months, like for the next 3 months, or like if you break the astrological year into chapters, sort of like when the next cardinal signs happen, like there is that 3 sign sort of
quarter.
Yeah. I really vibe with that. I agree, because it can be overwhelming.
Right.
Also, I should say that the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus, which adds more sort of luck and positivity to, because all the planets and the luminaries have certain signs that they're comfortable in and certain signs that they're not. And so there's like a thing in astrology where it's like, oh, cute.
Sorry.
The cat.
She's back.
It's a very Taurus image. Yeah.
Scorpio looking ass. Go on.
Like like the sun is in its rulership in Leo, or I think that Mars is in its fall in Libra. I don't know. There's this whole way of categorizing the planet. So the moon is exalted in Taurus. It's very comfortable in Taurus. It already kind of shines there. Which just adds more. I don't know. It really is crazy, the Uranus Jupiter thing. I'm like very tuned into astrology right now because all of that is happening on my moon. But regardless,
Right.
it's
No,
like it's
but
exciting for all of us.
right. And like you said, even if we've, of course, we always talk about this every time. Selfishly, Heather and I both have very strong Taurus placements. Taurus is in our top three. I'm a Taurus rising. Heather is a Taurus moon. So this has a lot of weight for us too. But again, that's why it's so important to familiarize yourself with your chart, to really get
Yeah.
into those layers and understanding, like you said, because you said Taurus is ruled by the
Uh Venus.
second, which
Oh,
is
oh,
that
this it corresponds to the second house in the
because it's the
zodiac.
second sign.
Yeah.
And Aries is always the first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like a little easier for me to remember because my rising being in Taurus, it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
one down. Everything's just
Yeah.
one down.
Right.
Um, but it's again, know where your Taurus placements are if you have them. Um, Heather, would you recommend this a time also? Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot here. I am just curious. Totally fine if you don't have a clear answer for this. But like, would you recommend people being really familiar because sorry, Jupiter and Uranus, right? Are the two you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in would you recommend people like knowing where your Jupiter and your Uranus placements are too, or is it less
Natally.
about what that means for your individual chart and just the extra energy that's like pumped in to the new moon itself? Like does that part have as much significance?
Yeah, I would say it does, but not as much, especially because Jupiter and Uranus move so slowly that
Mm,
they are in kind of the same signs for everyone our age,
that's right.
but different houses.
Right.
And it is good to be familiar with like where those energies take place in your house, just to have like context of how it manifests natally for you to add a level of understanding. Yeah, I mean, it helps, but I think more so knowing what house Jupiter and Uranus are in right now, like knowing where Taurus is in your chart, what house that falls in,
Right.
uh, is really exciting to look out for, especially because this is like supposed to begin a whole new 14-year cycle.
That's right. Because you said a Jupiter, is it Jupiter that stays for the 14 years?
Jupiter has a 12-year cycle. So Jupiter takes 12 years to move across the zodiac. So
That's
it's not the
so
first time.
slow.
It's actually like not the
As
slowest
slow.
though, when
Right.
you think about how Pluto takes like
Pluto.
200 plus years, doesn't
Yeah,
even
you're
hit
right.
all the signs, or like Uranus, I think is maybe 18, I want to say, or something. So Jupiter actually like is, yeah, it's a mid, but still it's significant when it changes signs. Like it's a big deal that it's about to go into Gemini. It's like you feel that shift. It's slow enough that it's like
Right.
major. But and yeah, and the Uranus Jupiter conjunction that only happens every 14 years, it kind of does represent like a whole new cycle. On top of the fact that Pluto, although it's not permanently in Aquarius yet, we really are on the brink of a major collective shift with that happening as well, only happening every 20 years.
Right.
So, for people who are fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, it's like major transformation right now, major shifts, major new chapters.
Wow.
Yeah. There's
It's
so many people I'm
exciting.
encountering at work that have like those signs, and they're going through it's like it's cool
Yeah.
to see it all play out.
I'm excited for the energy ahead for sure. And then there was one more thing I wanted to bring up. Sorry, Heather, or
Mm,
ask you about Gemini. The Gemini new moon is also one people are bringing up. And as I understand it, it's because what Jupiter and Uranus are doing now, maybe I have the planets wrong, but like as I understand it, what Jupiter and Uranus are doing in the new moon in Taurus, they'll also be doing in like a month from now ish with the new moon in Gemini.
that makes
Do I
sense.
do I have that
Yeah,
correct?
that makes sense. I think Uranus is moving a little bit slower,
Okay.
but
Maybe I have that one wrong.
no, but no, that makes sense. And Venus is probably gonna be hanging around too. And I honestly haven't like gone that far into my research yet. But no, it makes sense because like right now it is just all the planets are packed together, and because we just had the Mercury retrograde, Mercury moves really fast after it retrogrades. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be like Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and again another clump of fun planets around that
Mm,
Gemini moon, new moon, but this time in Gemini. Um, yeah, it's
Interesting.
exciting times. It's
It
exciting
is.
times.
It's just like
Um,
my whole feed is full of this new moon right now and this new moon energy. And I guess by the time this episode comes out, damn, maybe we put this episode out early.
I know,
I'm
I
like,
know.
I'm like, honestly, Heather, maybe we put this out today. Because again, even if you are hearing this episode late or past the new moon time, that energy is still like, oh,
Well,
oh,
oh no, I was just gonna say, I mean, it really is going the whole month because when
right.
the sun is about to meet up with this stuff too. And then there's so much happening in the month of May that is like compounding this. So it's the theme
Okay,
of the
good.
month.
Yeah,
And
just kind of
Channy
May.
Channy Nicholas said, and I don't want to get too into this. We'll talk about it more on a future episode, but she said that I think she said May 24th, like toward the end of May, we are like seriously in a new chapter. I think that's when Jupiter enters Gemini. It's like actually, she said that she looks at this year astrologically as like pre May 24th and post May 24th, because it is like
Wow.
completely new terrain, new chapter. Um,
Damn.
so I thought that was
Damn.
very, yeah.
That's
So
very profound. And again,
yeah,
people like so. Well, the Gemini new moon, as I understand it, that'll be in June, obviously.
yeah,
Or well, yeah, I think it is. It's June like 6th or
it should
something.
be June. Yeah.
I wrote it down somewhere. But that's like a crazy thing to think of too, of like this big Taurus new moon before this huge new chapter. And then the first new moon we have is Gemini new moon, and all the energy that we're taking from this Taurus time. It's all just like the dominoes are really set up in our favor, or like
Yeah.
energetically they're really complementing each other right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of last year was a lot more just when we were preparing for this energies, there was so much in transition, so much and not just the
Choppy is a
normal.
good word.
It was choppy and it felt
Yeah.
very a lot of contrast, like a lot of
Yeah.
planets were more kind
Contradictions.
of budding instead of like flowing. And now I feel
Yeah.
like we're in the like a lot of these energies are complementing each other and less contrasting each other. Does that make sense? Like am
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know
it
if you would
does. It
agree.
does. No, it does. I mean, especially right now in May, it's like all the lucky like beneficial planets
Yeah.
activated all at the same time. I do feel like the start of this year, or I don't know. I guess like for me, the Aries solar eclipse was in the I had a lot of eighth house shit going on and Chiron in my eighth and like heavy stuff. But it at the same time feels like there was like a narrative in that like it was difficult, but now it's yeah, now the planets are like complementing that difficult time or like showing new horizons through it, like rather than
But the
last
energy,
year that felt a little bit more like
yes.
yeah, good then bad then what am I choosing, what are
Things weren't like I feel like maybe we were like around this time, for example, we were putting out a lot more like be be a little cautious, be a little more careful. And this time we're
yeah,
like balls to the wall. We're
yeah,
like fucking go the full throttle.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
energy is in your favor to do so. That's like
yeah,
what I want to really reiterate on this new moon. It's that it's not
yeah,
just all new moons are an exciting new fresh start. Like that is the beauty of the moon phase. And like and again in the moon cycles, like when you manifest during the new moon, the next full moon after it is such a great stopping point of reflecting on, okay, what do I need to rearrange or what's maybe not working as well, yada yada. This being a fresh new brand new moon in our like brand new astrological season after this huge total solar eclipse, all of the movement that came with May, we're now kind of in a little more of a steady waters, right? It's not so choppy. And now it's like we have it's like for all my Floridians who listen to the podcast, it's like we've moved out of the manatee zone.
oh I
And now it's like, and we love the manatees. Like we're
yeah,
respectful of those manatees,
yeah,
and we're not going to we're not punching anything until, because we're in manatee zone. We got to go a little slow. And it feels like the boat has now reached, again, me and my fucking analogies,
love
but
it,
it
that
feels
is
like the
so
boat
good.
has gone past the manatee zone and we can just like, we're open cruising in the water right now.
Yes.
And it's almost like And then it's like, and not only that, we've already had a fortune teller or a fortune ball let us know we're all making it home alive.
Yeah.
We're gonna be a little sun kissed, and then we're gonna go home and make burgers. All the like, I don't know. There's
Ah,
something about this noon specifically is like the astrologicers are I keep saying astrologicers, and I don't know why I'm doing that. The
astrologers.
yes, thank you. I'm like, why can't I find it? Astrologically, the astrologers are like, this is why I think it's been such a boisterous time of like, please tap in to this new moon energy, and don't worry if you don't get it just on that night. This just in general, be fucking clear with what you want, because the energies have never been more set up in your favor. We've been told we have nothing but sunny skies, there's no rain on the horizon, and the boat just got out of the manatee zone, bitch. Like, we are
Yeah.
cruising.
Yeah.
Just get on if you want to get on.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
Also, I love that so much.
You know me. I
I
always have
love
to
it.
bring it back to water too. That's so
Yes.
Pisces. Pisces has to make it about
It's
herself.
so good. You're a writer. But no, I was gonna say, oh yeah. So something that people should understand about Uranus is that it is like it really what's the word? So I apologize because I'm under the weather and I feel like I'm not articulating myself as well as I would like to. But
You're having a new moon cleanse. That's
yes,
fine.
thank you. But Uranus really supports it's the planet of rebellion and like sudden breakthroughs, and it's a very spontaneous and innovative uh planet. It's Aquarius. It rules Aquarius. So it's like about doing things differently, taking a risk, really standing in your uniqueness. So I think it's like no coincidence that there's so many Taurans in my environment who
Mm,
have suddenly lost their job, but they see it as a blessing, or like they
same.
realize like, oh, I actually this is a breakthrough, not a breakdown, because I want to
Mm-hmm.
like be doing something more creative and unique to who I am. Like that
Yeah.
is very the energy of Uranus. So, yeah, Taurus is not really one to take risks, but all the astrologers are saying like if you want to take a risk, do it now because it really is like the
There's
energy
never
supports
been more
it.
of like, yes, yes. And yeah. And that's not always the case. Other times it's like, don't get risky
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
If it's a big Saturn moment, it's like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
restrict, be cautious. But
It's
that's
very,
not the energy of this month.
yes, like nothing is contrasting right now in a way that's like, we have full fucking permission to dream abundantly, and
Hmm.
we shall be rewarded. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just such an exciting week. Again, like I said, I woke up today like, ooh, happy new moon. And like, I just have been, I have a little, I'm preparing a little new moon ritual tonight, maybe
I'm
a
going to
little
do that
tarot
too.
reading of
Yes,
sorts.
I'm going to do that.
Even people are saying too, like, write your manifestations on paper. And because it's like an earth season sign, like put the little pieces of paper into soil, like into an already living plant, and like
Oh,
check in with, like, see how
that's
much,
fun.
like, you have a physical, like, really plant your manifestations. That was like a cool suggestion I saw,
Fun.
of like putting like on small pieces of paper and into the soil.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
just kind of loved that idea. Watch me kill all my plants.
I know.
But I'm like, maybe I don't play
My
around.
plants are already dying from the
Yeah, I'm like,
move.
I maybe don't need to do that. But yeah, like, it's just it's a very like, go for it. Like, you
Mhm.
have full, it's rare, I think, that we have so much in alignment with encouragement to bucking balls to the walls it, like,
Yeah.
the full throttle, like, charge it. Like, I just
And
there's something
also,
so exciting about that. And we kind of need that right now.
totally, I think we do.
On a bigger
Absolutely.
level,
Yeah.
probably everyone a little on a personal level, but on a bigger level, I think there is just an overall energy of like, let's fucking cut the shit of what's
Hmm.
not working,
It's
and
been
let's
exhausting and
let's go
mundane.
balls to the wall of what we want.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy because sorry, Heather, not to tangent, but like, I think a lot of manifestations, obviously, yes, Taurus is, I think, an incredible sign of setting the example of, we've said this before too, oxygen mask yourself first.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you literally cannot help others. Take care of, like, I think Taurus does that good balance of like, again, it's got that Aries energy of like self first for this, but I think Taurus is such a sign that is for the sake of the greater, for the sake of like my my piece in the puzzle, and also how me showing up 100% and as healthy as I can be, or as like charged as I can be, what that does for the bigger. Like I do
Yeah.
still, that abundance aspect of like, if I can get my shit together, think of how much more I can give, how
Yeah.
much better I can be. Yeah, I just like, but on a bigger level too, I've never found myself more, maybe it's this Aquarius new age and Aquarius. I've never found myself manifesting for the bigger too. And like thinking of bigger societal, like I think this was like
Right.
the very first, like I almost feel selfish admitting that, but I think I've always focused on manifestations from me. And I think a lot of it has been more like physical, which again, this is Taurus season. So it's like, get a new hairdo.
Yeah.
Do a little
Right.
something new with your appearance that makes you feel
Yeah.
new,
Get a new
right?
decor item for your home. Totally. Totally.
But like at the same time, it's not so much like the Taurus energy doesn't feel like it's on this petty superficial surface level. It's like do that for the bigger something. And I just feel like we as a generation, us as humanity, getting more on the higher vibe, brother, like there is so much manifestation I think that's coming around this time that is for the sake of bigger, and individuals are manifesting hope for like the bigger picture.
Very Pluto and Aquarius. Yeah.
It's so fucking beautiful. Like it's really, as shitty as this time is right now, there's so many pockets of like hell yes, and like good. We've got it. Our generation fucking has it, man. Like, just get out of our way at this point so
I
that we can
know.
full throttle it. Okay, I'm like, I can only keep it so vague in umbrella terms before I say, fuck the Republicans.
I
All
know.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We digress, we digress. But yeah, it's just a beautiful Taurus. All the bigger and smaller pieces. It really feels like things are at a head right now in a
Yes.
positive, good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like happy to be alive. um, and with that, Heather, sorry, I did not mean to tangent.
Oh no. I love it.
Shall we start getting
Oh, I'm so
into?
excited about this person. I love her so
I'm
much.
thrilled. I'm thrilled. This is gonna be a good one. But I wanted to make sure. Did you have anything else to add?
No,
Okay.
no. I
Wanted to make
think
sure I didn't
take
talk over that
risks.
last part.
Look at where Taurus is in your chart. It's an exciting time.
I'm sweating. Like I'm so pumped up. I need a. It's the cold brew, but also this energetic season.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
Heather. With that, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Oh, we are excited about this one, aren't we, Heather?
Yes, very,
Been a big
very,
old
very.
fan of hers for a hot minute.
We
Still
both
am.
love one of her movies a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The beautiful, the Tauran goddess herself, Kirsten Dunst. Do you say
Yes.
Kirsten or do you say Kirsten?
Kirsten, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of people like, because again, she's in Civil War, her husband's in it as well. I just recently saw it in theaters, and a lot of the conversation around her, I'm hearing a lot of Kirstens, and I'm just like,
Interesting.
have I been saying it wrong? But I'm like, I'm pretty sure she says Kirsten. Like it's Kirsten. We digress. But
Yeah.
I'm like, she's a
Interesting.
Taurus. She's probably fine with either.
She's so chill. Yeah.
But I want to make sure I'm not saying it wrong. Yeah, someone who's been in the Hollywood game for forever and still just feels like a grounded bitch. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I've always been such a fan of her. She's one of my she dare I say my favorite actress of all time. I always put
say
like
that,
her
Heather.
and Julianne Moore like up there as like my top two. Like I have such a
Mm,
special place in my heart for Kirsten. I just like love watching her perform. Cause yeah,
yeah.
there's this grounded, effortless presence and just beauty to her. But
Mm-hmm.
I was doing research and just like Megan Fox, another Taurus who got started as a model, Like, I guess the story is that she was just such a happy, vibrant child, also with her Leo moon, that
Mm,
her mom would like take her with her to the grocery store and people would comment like, "Wow, your child is such a light. Like, you should put her into modeling." And she put her into modeling at age 3 and like just in her Taurus attractive, Taurus
mm-hmm.
sun with the Leo moon, the confidence and just like sunlight,
Yep.
just kept that going.
Why are Taurans just like hot? Every Tauran I know is
It's
just like
Venus
effortless.
ruled.
It's literally effortlessly
It's
beautiful.
Venus ruled. Yeah, it literally is. It's ruled by the planet of beauty. So like
God,
so
I'm like thinking, I'm like,
often
I don't know a single ugly Taurus.
they also have good taste and know how to
Right.
like finesse it, you know?
And yeah, or spruce up their appearance. But
Yeah.
like every Taurus I know too is like a like yeah, it's a very natural beauty type or
Mm-hmm,
just like a
mm-hmm.
yeah. I love it.
Totally.
And yeah, like my so like the movie Little Women is so like I think the first movie I ever saw Kirsten in growing up was Bring It On. That was huge,
So
obviously.
good.
Like one of my favorite movies till this
Oh,
day.
same. Oh
No
my God. She's
notes.
so good in it.
So good in it.
Such an
It's
underrated movie. I love it so much.
they cast this beautiful blonde to play a cheerleader. Like we're not society isn't supposed to root for this girl and
But
like
she's
her.
so sweet. There's
She
something so
plays it.
pure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she played like because I think with the wrong actress, Torrance, her character can be really
You're
unlikable.
so right.
And that is just again a testimony to her acting, how like
Yeah.
great of an actress she is because in Tale as Old as Time, we're not designed, society isn't designed to like the cheer captain, to
Yeah.
root for her in any way. And even in the movie, oh, sorry, we got a runner. God, she's been in and out today. Um, but yeah, like I think there's something so specifically about how she plays that character that makes her so likable. And you want to root for her and you want the beautiful blonde to win. Which
Right?
like, yeah, does that make sense? Like, and I feel like it brought so much to cheerlead. Like, and I was a cheerleader growing up, as was Heather, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That must be our Taurus.
Uh-huh.
In cheerleading, I talk about this so much with like in terms of like theater, in terms of performance. Cheerleading gave me my fucking chops. Like my first real performance anything was cheerleading, and I was also a competitive cheerleader. I was on like a competitive team. Yes, we did the football games on the weekends, but we were practicing for competition.
I
And
think it
like
shaped me as a person. I think about it all
yeah,
the time. Yeah.
yeah. And she is, the face of Bring It On. But then also, one of my favorite, I love the new version of Little Women. Don't get me wrong. I love Greta's version of it. And I also thought impeccable casting. Um, but like as you were describing Kirsten as a child, I'm like, is that not little Amy March who she plays in like the original Little Women, who's just like happy and just like wants to be there? But even Amy March in the movie is like concerned with her nose and she's always putting clothespins on her
Uh
nose to like make it appear smaller. And Amy's into the arts and what's beautiful and even talks about like it's okay to know what you want. Like I want to marry rich. I want nice things. Like and
that's so
Joe's like
Taurus.
so pissed and Joe's all fire and like you've got your priorities wrong and Amy's like it's not wrong to know what we want and I'm just like
Right.
feel like little Amy March is almost a Taurus who she plays and
Totally.
she's just such a happy little cutie, naturally beautiful. Like
Yeah.
yeah, she just has shaped so much of childhood for me, but also I like yeah, she's stellar. She's someone who and Megan Fox too. It's funny you bring up that example because I was just listening, as I told you before this, to a podcast with her, the Call Her Daddy podcast. I was listening to her interview again because we just covered her. And she talks about she was a little girl and she told her mom, I'm going to be a famous actress. And she was like, I don't even think I had a love for performing at that time. It was just like something inherently in me was like, I'm going to be I'm going to be famous and it's going
I
to be from
love
acting.
that. I love
And
that.
there's just this like, is that not the most Taurus thing you've ever heard? And for little Kirsten to finesse it too, like, and she still is in the game in Civil
Mm-hmm.
War. She's so good in Civil War. And when you watch, sorry, one more thing I did want to say too, when you watch interviews of Civil War, it's Lily Collins, right? Is it Lily Collins who plays shit.
I have no idea.
I think it's Lily Collins. Oh my God, I'm going to get dragged if I'm wrong by that. Regardless, though, there's a girl who plays the other main character. I'm going to look it up now so I don't get yelled at by Alex. Shouts out to the queen. But like while she was filming with Kirsten on this movie, they got really close. They have a bond. They have a lot of scenes together. And there was another role that she was auditioning for. And Kirsten like made a phone call and like really, I think this girl like talks about this girl, if it's Lily Collins, everyone's gonna scream. But like she talks about how like I got that role because like Kirsten
Oh,
called to secure it essentially. And Kirsten's like, that is not what happened. Like I more just was like talking my shit of like, I think you should work with this girl, yada yada. Um,
that's so Taurus. All the Taurans in
yeah,
my life are like, well, let me like give you the push, or like, like
yes,
let me actually get the tangible results for you.
right. It is Lily Collins. Apologies. Apologies, I'm right.
Yeah, no apologies.
But apologies for not kind of just like knowing that off the top of my head. I was like, is it not Lily Collins? But yeah, and like I think even in their interviews, they're so cute together. And I just don't, again, the Taurus energy and the vibe is like they are stubborn. Yes, they're the bull. Yes. I think a lot of even like the competitiveness, though, that drive, it's not so much a like, so this person can't get it. It's such an inward one of like drive for self energy, for self perseverance, for, and not in a, like, I feel like Taurus is that a beautiful example of a sign that has that competitive drive and energy and that dedication, that determination, but without it having to be competition with others. It's like Taurans are in competitions with
With
themselves.
themselves,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's so, in a world that is so cutthroat, and Kirsten's already kind of come up in it, to see her using her power for good for another actress that she had a really like intense bond with and got along really well on set. Like that's so fucking Taurus to me. That is
Yeah.
just so Taurus.
Yeah.
They're so
Yeah.
loyal and trustworthy. It's such a
Totally
like
loyal.
safe energy and not from a place of like boring, vanilla. Like it's just such a good vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Kirsten exudes that. She really does.
She does. She does. And I think that it's so interesting looking at her career. And I want to get into the chart itself, but I have a lot to say. So, yeah, Kirsten Dunst, Taurus Sun, Leo Moon in the 12th house, channeling that Pisces, dreamy,
Mhm.
good placement for actors to be
Yeah.
able to like embody something ethereal and like something that's not you, with Leo being there. And yeah, Leo, obviously, she has the natural like confidence, natural performer. Um, and then Leo rising also. She's such a charmer. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm just now seeing she's also Leo rising. I love that. Um, I do know that okay, so I guess her mom, she like did well with the modeling when she was like very young, and then at her Saturn opposition when she was around 12, I think it was actually 11 years old, which is around the Saturn opposition, her parents got divorced and her mom took Kirsten to LA and sort of like made a lot of her identity like getting Kirsten success like in Hollywood, and like
Mhm.
pushed Kirsten in a way that Kirsten now kind of resents. She said in interviews that like she loves being an actor, but she feels like the way her mom like pushed her into it so young, she kind of developed like a psychology where her whole identity was about like pleasing people, like not
Mhm.
pleasing herself, which the Leo moon really needs, but also, I mean, Leo does need validation. And I guess it kind of like, yeah, she just says that she really grew up like just needing to please like the acting coaches, the directors, like her mom, like everyone in a way that became unhealthy. And then her 20s were kind of difficult, and she was taking on roles that she felt like she had to take on just, for the
Mm.
money and just to like stay relevant. And she got into trouble with like substance abuse and alcohol and drugs, and then went to rehab. And after her Saturn return, um, once she got into her 30s, she started being a little bit more picky about the roles she chose, had a better
Mm.
relationship with alcohol and substances. And she says that's when everything shifted. And yeah,
I never
that's
realized she went to rehab. Sorry.
yeah, it's
I
not
never
like I
knew
don't
that.
think it's like in this way that
It
she
wasn't publicized like a lot
I
of
don't
the child stars, unfortunately.
yeah, I
What
also don't
happens.
think it is like such a massive part of her story in the way that it is for other celebrities, but it
Right.
is nonetheless like she does talk about it.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, I think that's really interesting. And the moon in the 12th house, again, this we were talking about this with Maddie Healy. That is a tough placement. They unfortunately, I hate to generalize, but it is like you feel the weight of the world. It's
Yeah.
Pisces escapism. It tends to
Yeah.
just like want to escape because the world feels so heavy. But it's a great placement to channel it into art, into acting, into music. But also the moon rules the mother. And so there's it's a
Mhm.
difficult moon placement. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that the moon had, or the mom in her case, had such a significant impact on her, how she lived out the Leo archetype. Um,
Right.
and
Interesting.
yeah. And
Well, and also
also
I think, sorry, Heather, sorry, not to interrupt, but I'm like, you pointed out the Leo that really needs to do things for itself too. But I think Taurus is a sign that also is like, if I can't fulfill me, I can't fulfill the outside. So for her to have such a
totally
complex about wanting to people please and putting herself at the back burner on the back burner for so many years, it's such a beautiful thing that like through her Saturn return, like you said, she started getting a little more picky. It's like her signs kind
took
of took the
authority.
reins.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
totally,
Both because I
totally.
feel like Taurus is very similar in that
It's a
it
personal
need
sign. Yeah, it's the
yeah,
second sign. Yeah,
needs
yeah.
to take care of itself before it can even show up for others,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
a great it's a great quality. Go on
Yeah,
though.
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, and she also has the Taurus sun just 1 degree away from the midheaven, which is like the career point in the chart. It's the most public point in the chart. So I do feel like she is very kind of like I hesitate to use the word destined, but in a way, like, yes, very comfortable, very meant to be in the public, very
Yeah.
shines in the public. This is definitely like the chart of like a talented actor.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, oh God, Neptune in the fifth house, Pisces ruling planet in the house of Leo is also forming a beautiful complementary trine to the Leo rising. And then she has some third Saturn's in the third house of communication and the immediate environment, and Pluto's there too. That's interesting. I would have to unpack that more. Venus and Pisces in the eighth really values intimacy and that Pisces romance, and I love her relationship with her husband.
Hmm.
But also I think it's also, I just want to say, Sofia Coppola, who's one of my favorite directors, is also a Taurus and has worked with Kirsten Dunst a lot and on Virgin Suicides, and one of my favorite movies ever, Marie Antoinette. I fucking that is like Taurus in a film. Like there is nothing more Taurus than, and also all of Sofia Coppola's movies are very Taurus. I think there's just such an aesthetic and a she cares a lot about making things just like beautiful. Like the story doesn't matter so much as like just like creating beauty.
Well, and
And
going on real quick too, her Jesse Plemons, that's her husband's name, and I couldn't think
yeah,
of it. Um,
Aries.
their relationship is there's like a couple movies now that they've done together, and they were
Yeah.
nominated for an Oscar together.
Yeah,
Didn't
and they
one of
met
them
on
get it?
Fargo together.
Yeah, like
Um,
to have a love that is also that's just like beautiful that she's now making things like with her partner in a
and that
romantic
is
like
kind of eighth house actually, of like merging in that Scorpio financial kind of all-encompassing way.
yeah, I just love
Yeah.
that for her. Sorry, go on, go
No,
on.
I do too. It's amazing. And yeah, what was I gonna
Oh,
say? Oh, Sophia
yeah.
Coppola. Yeah, I guess also I've watched a lot of interviews with Kirsten, and she said that when she started working on Virgin Suicides with Sofia Coppola, and you know, I feel like she kind of became like a muse for Sophia. Kirsten said that she like really loves working with Sophia because she really helped her like find her confidence in her own beauty. Like I guess like during Virgin Suicide, Sophia Coppola was like, "You're beautiful. You just like you know, I cast you because you just like exude it." And she like taught her how to be comfortable in her like femininity and just like that
Mm.
confidence and like just, you know, um feeling beautiful, I guess. It sounds very superficial as they say it, but like I think it makes a lot of sense that these two Taurans came together and that she has
Yeah.
that relationship with her, and it's all very Venusian. Uh
Uh,
I love it.
Venusian.
Yeah. Um,
Is Venusian like, say it again?
Venusian, like Venus,
Venusian.
but yeah,
Yes.
Venusian.
I was like, she's saying
Mercurial,
Venus, right?
Venusian. Yeah.
Okay, I love. Go on, go
Martian,
on.
they
I'm like, I'm
say for
writing that one
Mars.
down.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, Martian.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry, sorry. Go on, go on.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot else. I like could go more. I don't know. It's interesting that the outer planets are almost entirely on the bottom half of her chart. I feel like we don't always hear, she kind of like keeps her private
She,
life private.
yes, yes. I was gonna say the
Um
same thing.
but I know that her private life hasn't necessarily been easy throughout the years, but in her Taurus grounded way with that Taurus sun being the top of the chart, that's what we see really is just like
Yeah.
a grounded calm exterior. Um but yeah, what a talent. What an amazing person.
Well, and I just looked
Um,
up too, while we're on the subject really quick. I looked up Jesse's sign, her husband.
he's an
And
Aries Libra moon, right?
yes, we don't have his rising, but he's an Aries sun,
Also
Libra
Venusian.
moon. Yeah, I find that interesting.
Yeah.
And then they connect on, their love for movies. And it's such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing because you never really know how that is with child stars. Like I feel like, right, a lot of child stars, maybe it wasn't their choice. Again, the whole example there is that they're doing it as a child, or regardless, even if it is their choice as a kid, that's not always going to be your choice forever.
Yeah.
And to be a successful child star, to stay in that industry, to stay, so much of it is not just like, okay, well, you've made it. It's continuing to make it. It's continuing to stay relevant. It's all the little like side games you have to play besides just getting a part, acting in it, and going about your business. Like there
Yeah.
is so much extra you have to do. It's very extra. Like Kirsten is someone who is a child star that I feel like, again, I was shocked to hear about the rehab thing, but maybe I just, whereas like, you know, for example, Lindsay Lohan, Britney
Right.
Spears,
Right.
Miley going through her like this was public
Yeah.
information. This was in your face. I didn't necessarily go looking for that. It
Yeah.
just was spat out in like, and I feel like she is a very, whether that was the plan or not, um, yeah, like that was just it feels like it can really go one of two ways. Either
Uh-huh.
you're a child star and you continue in that career. And there's no problems. Or maybe there are problems, but like, you're getting your shit together to stay in it for the money. I feel like it's like a beautiful thing to hear Kirsten be like, I started taking roles that meant shit to me. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing to go through that because at this point she could walk away, start over. Maybe I'm not aware of her financial situation, but it feels like she's connected enough to just be out here making money. She's connected enough. She's known the industry long enough that if it really was just about staying relevant and making money, I think that would exude a lot more in a way that this is honestly the most artistic I've ever felt she's been, or
Totally.
like her
And
priorities for the art
yeah, and
she's
it's
making.
yeah, and she says she's much happier like sort of
Yeah.
curating, and that's so Taurus also to be so selective and to be rooted in the quality, and
Yeah.
Taurus is not one to just, you know, take whatever. It's like it's very,
Let's do it
especially
for
the
the sake of
Tauran
doing it.
artists.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's very about like it has to be grounded in my
The
principles and
purpose.
my
Mm-hmm.
values and what I find to be quality. Like it's not about just, yeah, let's do it all, do whatever. Like
Yeah.
do it for the money or the clout.
Yeah.
Um
It's just really she's such a interest, like she's very rare, I feel like, for a lot of what we're used to in Hollywood,
yeah.
where that came around in a time where it could have gone one or two ways. And I think her Taurus groundedness had her sort of going this route. And it's just so fun to see her doing shit. Not that I don't feel like she left. Maybe this is why I felt like Kirsten left for a while. Maybe that was her rehab. I'm not quite sure. I know you said it's not that big of a part of her story, but yeah, it just did. It felt like she kind of walked away from Hollywood for a little bit, and in a way that probably everyone needs to, especially
Right?
if you've been a child growing up in this shit. Let me walk away from this. Let me make sure it's something I still like, because there's no point in doing it if my fucking Aries, no, what is it? Leo moon and my Leo rising and my Taurus sun aren't being fulfilled. And I just feel like we're
Yeah.
seeing that version. And I'm just so excited she got to have that, she gets to still love this and be in it on her
Yeah,
terms.
yeah. She also said that her I guess she had a child um and she took a break from acting for 4 years like
That's
when
what,
she had
yeah.
her first kid.
I didn't think about
But
kids.
I'm sure that that also like realigned her value system as far as like acting
Oh,
goes and
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Um
Taurus too, being responsible, being loyal,
mhm.
being dependable. And like
Yeah.
Megan Fox talks about this too, where like she really feels like, obviously like she's already talked about this. She's like, my kids are all just so beautiful and talented. They're just going to be famous. And she doesn't even mean that in a way of like, I'm going to push them for that. She's like, but both their parents are
Right.
in the industry. Like, it is what it is. And she's like, but I
Yeah.
am like, she's like, I'm so protective of them. And she talks about how her whole purpose has shifted to being, she like, the mom thing is so important for her. And I can see
Yeah.
like, that's a beautiful thing that Kirsten took off
Yeah,
time.
Kirsten said it was like the most healing thing ever, actually,
Oh,
to have a child. Yeah.
what a
Um,
beautiful soul.
I know, I
I love her
know.
Taurus ass.
I love her so much.
Kirsten, come on the show.
Please, please be my
Bring it,
friend. Be my
Kirsten.
acting coach.
Yeah,
You're my
honestly.
favorite.
Heather, I'm going to send you the interview. And also, listeners, I highly recommend this interview with her and Lily Collins. Like, she is so maternal, but also like, she's just so like, she just is so warm. She exudes
Yeah,
warmth.
she really
And
does,
that's
which is very
so
Leo too,
Taurus
but
and
yeah,
Leo.
Taurus.
Yep. I feel like
Yeah,
Taurus is such a warm sign. And then her Leo. And
yeah,
I'm just so, any child star who fucking makes it out of that shit, I'm just like, Godspeed, honey. Or, and
right?
like, what a beautiful place to like have been able to take a break, kind of come out of a lot of it, and now enter on your. I'm just, we're rooting for Kirsten, and we will
Totally.
never stop.
Never
Ah,
stop.
beautiful. And with that, Heather, shall we let the folks know what's to come?
Yeah, it's an exciting week. I mean, the new moon in Taurus obviously is the big
Mm-hmm.
thing we're dealing with right now. Um, it will have already happened when this is published, but
Right.
the energy continues. Really, it continues for the rest of the month. Especially Monday, May 13th is the next big day to look out for.
Mm.
Because on Monday, the sun reaches the Jupiter, Uranus, Venus huddle. They call it a conjunction in Taurus. And at the same time, the moon's going to be in Leo that day, forming an opposition to Pluto, which is arguably the most powerful planet. Anytime anything hits Pluto,
Right.
it's a big thing. Oppositions are major and it's just the moon, but coming off of this Taurus new moon and then landing in the next fixed sign of Leo and opposing Pluto at the same time that the sun is hitting that Jupiter, Uranus, Venus conjunction is like another moment of, all right, time to change, time to really the sun is about bringing things to consciousness. So whatever you're feeling on a moon lunar level right now during the new moon or manifesting or setting intentions around, you should see like the sun light it up on Monday. Or bring
Mm.
something, it brings something to like ego awareness or consciousness. Um yeah, so that's really exciting that that's happening right after. Um
Interesting. I'm going to
and
mark that in my calendar.
yeah, also a good day to take risks or to do something. I don't know. Think about
On the
Taurus
13th, you mean?
themes. Yeah, think about Taurus themes in like
Literally
a
writing it
more
down.
out of the box kind of way. Like yeah, it's very activated, very energized time. It
Love.
should be a fun day, fun week.
Ugh, it just really is a fun time. And we haven't even touched on the rat beef.
Oh,
Are you? I'm like, I'm very, I'm sorry. I should have brought it up. It's too late. It's too late. Next episode, Heather. Um,
I'm
but
so
like I
curious.
was thinking about this in regards to the rat beef that's going on right now in
Oh.
pop culture, Kendrick and Drake.
Oh, I don't
Um,
know. Oh shit.
oh, Heather, we'll talk.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm kind of like, I keep tuning in and I'm like, oh, this is coming to a head. And I keep being like, I wonder where the rap beef is gonna
Astrological.
be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like what that
I
means. Or I'm
love
like,
that.
or maybe they're gonna be friends. They're gonna kiss and make
Yeah,
up. Just
yeah.
kidding.
The
Um,
astrology podcast I listen to, it's literally called the Astrology Podcast. They do a monthly it's kind of the news, but in astrology terms. And they like talked about
mm,
like how Miley Cyrus, won the Grammy when during her Saturn return, like it's cool. They
yeah,
like talk about pop culture events, but that's not the whole thing, but they like,
I love that.
yeah.
No, yeah. It's just a time to be alive. And the reason I brought up the rap was because I was like, man, what a time to be alive.
Oh, funny.
Which is a Drake. And then that made me, anyways. But it is. I'm just like, there's such an abundance of positive, lucky energy waiting for us all to individually tap into. The more of us that do tap in, it's just, oh, we're all smaller puzzle pieces to a much big universal puzzle. And this is such a time to take advantage of this energy. Manifest for yourselves, manifest for the bigger picture. Abundance is on the horizon. We're also sort of in the middle of this charged up, like, it's just a time. I'm just happy to
Yes,
be here for it. I'm just happy to be invited, But yeah,
totally.
amazing, beautiful. Listeners, we fucking love your guts. All right. We will see you right back here next week. Heather, I fucking love your guts.
Ah, love you so
Um,
much.
God, I love it. I love this time. And with that, infinite fucking
Infinite
abundance.
abundance.
Love you
Bye.
guys. Bye.